Thanks, guys. Sheehan, Stanwick, Birch, Gerald are with you. Buckle up. We've got 29 teams to get through tonight, Sheehan. Big competitive field. Excited to bring it to people.
We are on TV, so this is amazing. I'm really excited to be here, see you in person for the first time this season. And we had an awesome 2021 season of women's lacrosse. So many great matchups, great weekend of conference tournaments. We know a lot of those teams, but looking forward to see the rest.
If you need to know how this works, here's a quick refresher. 29-team field, 15 of those teams won their conference. They're the automatic qualifiers, and then 14 teams at the at-large. Now, the committee is going to seed the top 8 of these teams. The top 3 get a bye straight to the second round. The remaining 5 teams will play in a bracket with 3 unseeded teams. So let's get into those top 3 teams. Who's going to get the bye? And Sheehan, no surprise with number 1. It's North Carolina, the 18-0 top-seeded Tar Heels.
North Carolina has just continued to roll, amazing at every part of their game. They're from offense to defense in the midfield. They're so strong. Katie Hogue, Jamie Ortega continue to shine. They work so well, probably the best dynamic duo in the nation.
Number 2, jump aboard the Skane train. The Northwestern Wildcats, Big Ten champs, check in at the number 2 seed.
They have been so fun to watch, dominated Big Ten. They've been tested a little bit, but they've always able to pull away from their opponents, only played Big Ten matchups, so excited to see them against others. But Izzy Skane leads the nation in points, phenomenal. Lauren Gilbert as well is so impressive.
And the last team to receive that crucial first-round bye, the 3 seed, the Syracuse Orange.
Syracuse has been battle-tested this year. They've had many injuries, most recently Megan Carney, but they've continued to have other players step up and adjust. And if Asa Goldstock and Cage can play well, they will be very tough to beat.
So North Carolina, Northwestern, Syracuse, those are your top 3 seeds. They get a bye straight into the second round. Shit, we still got 26 to go. We are just getting started, but let's send it back to the guys. All right, it's official. May Madness is upon us. The men's bracket is set. On the women's side, we know North Carolina, Syracuse, Northwestern, the top 3 seeds. Some more teams, Stony Brook, Drexel, Duke, waiting to hear their name called. So 3 down, 26 to go. Sheehan, Stanwick, Birch, Jay Alter with you to break it down. Sheehan, we have no time to spare. 29 teams. We got to get right into it.
We got to get into it, and I know you all are patiently been waiting for this. So we got some exciting news.
The top-seeded Tar Heels, well-deserved ACC champs, 18-0. They're the number 1 seed, Sheehan. They will face the winner of James Madison and Johns Hopkins.
James Madison, can't count them out, the 2018 champions. They won the CAA, and Johns Hopkins has goalie of the year to their name for the Big Ten.
You mentioned the CAA. That title game today, that was the game of the weekend in any sport. James Madison edges Drexel, but the Dragons still get in. The first time in program history they are in the women's field, and they will play Rutgers out of the Big Ten.
That's super exciting to Drexel. Congratulations. That's such an awesome milestone for the program. And Rutgers, you notice their record. So they were below 500. And any other year, they wouldn't be in. But this year, it's not part of the criteria. So they make their way in and will meet this awesomely excited Drexel team. You got to love that energy.
That is what May is all about, a program getting in for the first time. Look what it means to the Drexel Dragons. Winner of that game takes on Towson and number 8 seeded Stony Brook, the Seawolves, winning their 8th straight America East title. A team that you could always expect come this time of the year.
Super strong. Taryn O'Miller and Allie Kennedy are awesome for them. Both America East Players of the Year.
All right, next region. Teed up, number 5 seed, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They will host Robert Morris in the first round.
Notre Dame won this matchup in the regular season 16-2, and behind the strength of Casey Choma and Madison Ahern, they're looking to make a stamp on this season.
Also out in South Bend, Virginia out of the ACC. They're taking on the UConn Huskies.
You know, Virginia, if you look at their schedule, they've lost the last 6 games, but they have a ton of talent. Annie Dyson, Taylor Regan, and congratulations to UConn also making it in. I think this is going to be a tough matchup.
A big and competitive field continues with UMass taking on Temple.
You know, just an awesome job. Congrats to Bonnie Rosen from Temple and UMass, the A10 champs. They had 2 losses early on, but they have just continued to roll.
The winner of that game faces the 4 seed Boston College or Fairfield. How about the Eagles, which means 4 of the top 5 seeds in the women's tournament out of the ACC. And for Boston College, They love May. They've been to championship weekend the last 3 years.
Yeah, they have been there. They want to end their season on a win. They've just got so much talent. We've all here raved about Charlotte North and her playmaking ability. Belle Smith, ACC Rookie of the Year. So they've got to be super excited. They're just a ton of talent. And I really like this bracket. I think that the 4 and 5 seed, they have some nice matchups that they should be able to advance.
Again, the headline there is we get a reaction from the Boston College watch party and their beautiful indoor facility in Chestnut Hill. 4 out of the top 5 seeds, Sheehan, in the ACC. That's a statement from the committee.
It totally is. And we've seen how strong the ACC has been all season long, so very well deserved.
And it continues with the number 3 seed Syracuse. We announced that earlier. The Orange awaiting the winner of Loyola, Maryland, and Hofstra. That game also played in the Carrier Dome.
Yeah, Loyola just winning that Patriot League tournament. Livy Rosenzweig having a career day, now the career points leader. And Hofstra, got to watch out for Alyssa Perella, a big-time scorer.
The next matchup could be the dark horse of the tournament. Jacksonville, a stellar regular season at 11-1, taking on Vanderbilt.
You know, in Jacksonville, remember that they beat Florida early in this season, so they've had an awesome season, and Vanderbilt also looking to make a statement.
You mentioned Florida. We may get a rematch from that Jacksonville game because the Gators are the number 6 seed. They're coming in hot, 13 straight wins since that loss to Jacksonville.
Yeah, and you got to look out for Shannon Cavanaugh and Brianna Harris for them, and they will face Mercer, which big props to them making it in.
SoCon champs for a 3rd straight year. They're taking on Florida as we hit our final pod here. We told you earlier, the number 2 seed, Northwestern, they've got to bye to the 2nd round. But Sheehan, this is a tough 2nd round matchup. Stanford undefeated, Pac-12 champions, or 15-1 Denver, the Big East champions.
Yeah, I mean, Northwestern has been super strong, but this first round matchup is very tough. Denver, congrats Eliza Kelly and her staff and team for winning the first Big East champion. And Stanford, the Pac-12, you never know who was going to win. So for them to come out unscathed, very impressive. I do think Northwestern has the talent, though, to advance.
We've waited a while, but finally, the reigning national champions, Maryland, seemingly always playing their best lacrosse in May. They will take on High Point in the opening round.
You know, it is shocking to see Maryland not as a seeded team, but they have been challenged in the Big Ten this year. They take on High Point. I see them advancing to the next round, and if they continue to go, we could see them meeting Northwestern for the 4th time this season.
What a path that would be for Maryland and Northwestern. But they're going to have to get through the number 7 seed, the Duke Blue Devils, back in the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2016. They host Mount St. Mary's.
Yeah, and Duke, they, ended their season just with a heartbreaking loss in the ACC tournament, a ton of talent, and it'll be great to see if we can see Duke and Maryland advance to see that matchup happen. But a lot of talent on this Duke team, especially Maddie Jenner taking that draw.
The Blue Devils, the 7 seed, 5 teams in that top 8 that the committee seed coming out of the ACC as we take a look at the Duke watch party. Love these reactions.
It's so awesome just to get a look into these watch parties. It's been such a hard season for everyone. So many challenges, and to see those smiles and hear the laughter is just amazing.
All right, the field is set. We've got our bracket ready to go, and now let's welcome in our committee chair for the NCAA, Christy Leach, the head coach of Stetson. And Christy, such a unique year, so much that the committee had to go through this year that they previously didn't have to, whether it's, who the teams were allowed to play, the strength of schedule, how many games they were allowed to play. What were your key factors in separating the teams this year?
Yeah, it was definitely a tough year. I mean, we're also obviously happy to have lacrosse back, but I think with looking at the criteria that we're given, in years past, we kind of look at them all evenly, but I think we really focused a lot on, our common opponents, if there were some, head-to-head, if there were some, and then a lot of time we had to figure out on significant wins and losses, and I think that was the biggest deciding factor this year, and, every year we do this. What is a good win? What's a bad loss? What's a bad loss? What's a good win? So those are things that we do every year, and it's just, that was no different. It's just obviously harder with the data that was available this year.
Christy, the Big Ten played a conference-only schedule, and a lot of people were talking about that. How did you evaluate the teams just when they had only those results?
Yeah, it was definitely tough with the Big Ten. obviously a strong conference in years past, and I think this year we look at each team individually and how we think they can compare to the rest of the field, and I think with the 4 that we got in, that they will fit nicely with the rest of the teams that are in the tournament.
This was a different year for everyone, as you said. As a committee, what did you find to be kind of the most different process in this selection year?
Yeah, the different process was just, once again, talking about what's a good win and what's a bad loss. And that was tough, especially getting those last, half of the at-larges in. And then, the amount of games was also another thing. When we were doing our regional rankings and going through the season, and there weren't just as many games being played that are in a normal year. So before a conference tournament, some people only had 10 or 11 games, and that was tough to kind of use those data points against a team that had maybe more opportunities to play games. Obviously all teams and schools and everybody had different restrictions, and I think teams were able to do the best they could. But I think it was still, that was difficult to compare schools that maybe played 16, 17 games to maybe that played like 10, 11, 12 games.
Christy, I know when you're constructing the bracket, it's so difficult with 29 teams. How much does geography play a part?
Geography played, it plays a part in every year. That's part of our, guidance that we get. And I think we did a really good job of keeping the integrity of the bracket with the geography that had limitations we do have. And I think, we're really happy with how the bracket turned out. I think it looks pretty good to what we kind of place teams at. And I think it should be a really competitive tournament.
Well, Christy, thanks for your time. Great job by the committee this year. And we can't wait for these games to get going.
Thanks. Us too.